A new blog is out talking about fishing on land and sea with the Highlands fishing expansion. Today we're going to be talking about the multiple different ways that you can get fish in addition to feeding them, making them bigger, and creating a nice place where you can fish in private in your very own pond. The expansion will be here on Tuesday, November the 4th, 2025 for PC, Mac, PS5, and Xbox Series. If you're on PC and you would like to pre-order it, you could do that now via the link below. You'll get 10% off. And no matter what platform you're on, if you own the Year 1 Season Pass, you technically already own the expansion as well. Just download it the day it's here and you'll be good to go. So let's dive right in. Before we put any attention on the fish raising facilities, we have to make sure that we can feed those little guys. We're gonna have two options. We can either buy fish fodder or produce it ourselves. In the beginning, before we get fully committed into fisheries, buying this is going to be much quicker and a whole lot easier. We'll be able to buy it in pallets at the warehouse. In the long run though, however, it's going to be more financially efficient to produce this fish food yourself by buying a fish food factory, of course. There we'll be able to deliver flour, soybeans, and oil to produce the food. Now let's talk about the breeding facilities themselves, where we'll be able to grow trout and salmon. In the construction menu under production chains, we're gonna find aquaculture, which is a brand new category being added with this expansion. You will then take your fish breeding building and put it wherever fits best. Once it's built, then you bring your fish food, however you got a hold of it, I ain't gonna say nothing about it, to the designated unload area right in front of that facility. In return, you get young trout and young salmon, which will be boxed up and ready to ship. And yeah, they do kind of just like pop out of nowhere. You deliver the food and then you get fish. Next, transporting, because we got to take them somewhere. But the question is, where do you take them? Well, we got some options here as well. With those pallets of juvenile trout and or salmon, you can sell them right away, just like you can anything else in the game, and then keep your business on solid ground without having to do anything wild and crazy. But if you want to make your ground a little bit wobbly, well, we're going out to sea. And to do that, we got to make some investments. You're gonna need a boat. But if you just want to sell the juvenile fish themselves, you unload the boxes in designated areas of a storage facility, and then you get paid. That's just about it. But again, if you're getting your feet wet and you get all wobbly underneath you, well, then we need to get a cargo ship. You buy one of those, and then you can load it up with a forklift. The boat actually has a ramp that comes down in the front. That's pretty cool, and it's even got a built-in crane on it, so you can just pull right up next to the dock and unload and, well, load and unload that way. You can also just use heavy lift and no one would judge you otherwise. In order to buy boats, you're going to be buying them at the harbor, which is pretty cool. Once you've got everything loaded up with your fish pallets, we will be heading out to sea to our aqua farm. In these areas, we take our juvenile fish, and that's where they're going to be raised to adulthood. They all kind of look the same. They're available in 2, 4, and 6 pods, so you'll be able to choose which one you want, whether you need one that's a little smaller or a little bigger. Oh, and they need fish food too, so you're still going to have to give them more fish. Little baby fish need to eat too. Although you don't have to. We've seen screenshots already where you didn't have to feed them, so if you want less fish, well, then just don't feed them, and they just kind of find food in the ocean, I guess. Once they've all grown up, those adult salmon and adult trout will then spawn in boxes outside of your fisheries to then be collected, and then you can deliver them and sell them. Now here's where it gets kind of cool, because we don't actually have to do any of that. And that's where sport boats and ponds come into play. Maybe you don't want this huge cargo ship in your way and you just want to get out and have a little fun. Well, we've also got a sport boat as well. So far, we've only seen 2 boats. I'll be honest with you, I don't foresee us getting any more than that, at least to start with, so I wouldn't expect any more. And the sport boats are pretty fun. So with these, we can take them, drive them around all the waterways, which is nice. If you're like me, you probably get them stuck in plenty of places. And we can even fish from them as well. I think out of all of the things being added with this DLC, the sport boat, this is what I'm most interested in. I want to take it for a spin. As we mentioned, in addition to that, we've also got a fish pond. You could buy this, place it on your land, and this will allow you to grow fish on a smaller scale, although we don't have a lot of information on that right now. We don't know if we're going to be feeding them, if they're going to be growing, anything like that, but we do know that we can catch them here. Now, we've seen them fishing in the sea. We've seen them fishing in little creeks around the map as well. I don't know everywhere we're going to be able to fish. Maybe it's everywhere. Maybe it's not everywhere. We don't know, but hey, this is cool. We didn't know anything about the fish ponds. Now we know we're getting one. So to recap, with the Highlands fishing expansion, we'll be able to start bigger, more professional fishing operations, fish breeding facility, offshore aqua farms, or aquaculture as we've been calling it, food production, and boats for transport. And all of that's going to let us set up a new line of businesses in addition to agriculture, animal husbandry, and forestry, which we have come accustomed to over the years. So that's it for all of the information that we got in the blog today. And I'm curious, are you guys super excited about this? Are you going to be fishing on day one, driving your sport boats around, getting them stuck in places? Or is this a DLC that you're just going to let swim by? I apologize for the pun, that was rough. Regardless of what you're doing, I would love to hear about that down in the comments. So now that we have the information, I would like to take a little bit of a closer look at some of these screenshots. So this one right here is showing off all of the food. So this is going to be our fish food, or as they called it, fish fodder. I'm not sure if the fodder is what we make, but I imagine the fish food is going to come in these pallets no matter how you do it. We also have a car up here. I think this is the car that we're getting with the DLC. Can't be too sure. I don't know a lot about those cars, I'll be completely honest with you, so we will be finding that out. Also, I believe up here at the top left-hand corner, I think that is our starting farm. Everything kind of looks like it's in the right place. We know our animals are going to be very close by, so we got our Highland cattle up there. This is pretty cool. Also, we have the Kilted Pistons vehicle shop services. That is very, very neat. Next, we have our Kidlag Feed Co. This was something that we saw in a video, I think not too long ago. And this right here is where we're going to be doing all of our fish food production. So in here, you can see we're delivering stuff, and that is just going to be one of the things. Again, we know that we need to deliver flour, soybeans, oil, which they didn't say. I imagine it'll be any of the oils, and that will produce the fodder food. That'll produce the food. I think this was translated a little roughly. Nonetheless, we can see our fish food down here on the right-hand side, and that is about all I see here. Now we're inside the breeding facility that we've got on our farm. We see a little bit of a fish food down there on the outside. We're gonna have places to drop stuff, which we'll see in the next screenshot. And in here, we can see our salmon and our trout, and I will do my best to remember that it is those two fish. It is no other ones that we've seen, at least. And we also know about rod and reel fishing. We're going to get different ones, but it's still those two breeds. Here's the outside, and we'll see, what does it say there? Guy Effin. All right, well, at least it's in that order. Down here, we have the juvenile fish. So obviously, this looks a little bit different from the fish food pallets that we've got. Of course, loading everything up by hand. We also have some nice stuff in the background. I think maybe over here. What is that? I got to figure out what that is. I'm not quite sure. Of course, we've got our billboards everywhere. We got the mill over there as well. It's just a really nice shot right here. And speaking of those pallets, here's a closer look at them. We'll be able to see the differences just by looking at the side. And these do look like young fish. They don't look like adults. Kind of cartoony as well. So I think that's a nice way to differentiate between the salmon and the trout. Now it's time to transport. We got our lizard dragon on here. So they're bringing that back over from the Hutan Pentai map. We've got a couple minis over here, which they're probably not calling minis. And then we've got more cars just kind of hanging out around. I also think this over here on the left-hand side is the mill where we actually make our own food, the fish food production. And then we have another Unheinrich over here. And this was an interesting because they called this the storage area. In the blog, they say to sell the tiny fish, bring them to the fish market, unload the boxes in the designated area of this spacey storage facility to get paid, and you are done with it. I'm guessing this sign up here that says storage area, that is probably that. And over here, maybe a thing that shows you the different logos for the fish. We have all the fish kind of hanging around. I imagine we'll just be able to pull through here and it'll just happen, just like any other place where we sell pallets. At the end of the day, this is just a pallet sell point. The boat, man, the boat. Yeah, super excited about this one. You got your cargo ship right here. We've also got some fish food that's already loaded up. We're loading in more fish food. We do have a crane on the right-hand side, that red crane, but I doubt we'll be able to use that. But we do know the crane on the vessel itself, we will be able to use that. Here it is in action if you just kind of want to see it. We will enter the crane, not the boat itself, but the crane, and this will load everything on. So they're taking out juvenile fish, and they're taking out fish food, because we, again, in order to make our fish nice, big, and strong, give them fish food. Again, I also believe that we'll be able to not give them fish food, and we still kind of do fine, but you don't get as much. Out to the fisheries we go, and this is one of the ones that's showing a double. As we mentioned, we'll have a 2, 4, and 6 pod versions. I think those are the only ones that we're going to have. Those are the only ones we've seen anyway. And I believe this is just going to be a visual thing. I'm not sure if, if you load it up with one single set of fish, let's say you just do a bunch of salmon, I don't know if it's just going to be a bunch of salmon swimming around or if these are just, models. I do think looking in here, we've got different sizes. Maybe some of these look smaller than the others, but this is also pretty pixelated. These screenshots are 1440p, and I'm recording in 4K, which really doesn't help any, but it just is what it is. However, the next screenshot does give us a little bit better look at it, and not that it matters at all, but I think all of these are adults. They all kind of look the same, so we're just going to assume they're all the same. So this now is different. Here are the new pallets. These are the adult fish. So they have grown to full maturity and they are ready to be sold. So over here on the left-hand side, this area is where we drop everything. So whenever you come in with cranes, it's where you drop it. Or if you're like me, you're going to pick it up and throw it. If I can ever figure out how to throw stuff in Farm Sim. And then down here, we've got where everything will spawn. There's a lot of room there, so I'm hoping that's a lot of space for fish. And the cargo vessel being loaded up, and it looks like it is dropping stuff off. As I mentioned, over here on the left-hand side, that's where things are delivered, whereas on the right-hand side is where we just saw the adult fish. So I think these are juveniles. Yeah, those look like juveniles. But that's pretty cool too, nonetheless. I think running this crane's going to get old very quickly because we will have to use the crane in order to drop stuff up there. It doesn't look like we'll be able to run the front thing, the ramp, although I am going to try. Don't worry. Now let's get into the Lizard Speedboat. Kind of excited about this, man, or the Lizard Sports Boat, as it is called. We do have a nice wake being formed around it, so at least that is nice. Water is not the easiest thing to do in a video game, let alone farming simulator of all things. So it's pretty cool to see that they've done it like that. Here's our dude just hanging off to the side there, but we do know that we'll also be able to fish from the side of this. So be able to fish out off the side of this boat or off the side of the other boat as well. You can decide whether you want to keep it or not. Why does that say sky effing? Come on, man. And of course, you can't forget about first person. In here in first person, we've got a nice, preset to 105.3 DjFM. Yeah, that's what you need right there. Cool screen here on the side. Doubt anything will be useful, as most of the screens are not in Farm Sim, but hey, you never know, we may get lucky with it. I expect at least maybe this handle on the right-hand side to move. Hopefully. The boat is alarmed. I'm alarmed. Everyone else should be when I'm driving a boat. But it'll be fun. I'm excited. And these guys right here, man, I did not know anything about the fish ponds. This one, it came as a total surprise, a total shock to me. It doesn't look like we got anywhere to feed them around the outside. So I'm guessing this is going to kind of work like it did when we took the juvenile fish and put them into the fishery without giving them food. When you do that, you do get less fish overall, but this may be a nice cost-effective way to do it at the very start at least. And we can fish from here too. Everybody inside here looks like they are adults, so I imagine we're going to get a very similar animation to those fisheries out in the ocean, but still, nonetheless, very cool to see that we can fish from this. And also, this was a screenshot that really, it was in the blog today, but it wasn't actually in the blog. It was an extra screenshot that content creators got a hold of, so I did want to show you this as well. We are obviously on the sports boat. We are obviously fishing out here in the harbor. Actually, over here on the right-hand side, that should be where, like, the big main part of the harbor is. I imagine that's also where we're going to be buying our boats. So there is that. Very cool. And that's all of our screenshots. Again, don't forget the Highlands fishing expansion will be here for PC, Mac, PS5, and Xbox Series on Tuesday, November the 4th. It will be $30 USD or $29.99. If you're on PC, you can use my link down in the description. That'll save you 10% off. And if you are an owner of the Year 1 Season Pass, you already own this DLC. You just gotta wait till release day and then download it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something about fishing in Farming Simulator 25. FS25 on land and sea. I'm very excited about this. Definitely going to be digging right in with the fish. Obviously excited about the map as well, being based around the Scotland and that area, but I'm really excited about fishing. And if you are too, let me know. And if you're not, hey, let me know. Regardless, I hope you liked this video and I hope it helped you out. If you did, drop a like, get subscribed if you're new, and join the GoHam fam. Double check those notifications. That way you never miss videos like this one. Appreciate you watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you in the next one.